Hello, Misfit Nation. Welcome to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt the Misfit, and we're going to go over AEW Dynamite for October the 12th, 2022, live from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, at the Coca-Cola Arena. I believe that's the name of the arena. Dynamite, their debut in Canada here tonight. We also found out earlier today, for AEW went on the air, that Renee Paquette is now all elite. She will be part of the broadcast team going forward. Good for her. She's amazing at what she does. She is a great hand if you want her to be doing like interviews and stuff for the like post shows and things like that, or pre shows or whatever you want to do with that. She's great at that. We also had a women's tag team match. Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida defeating the team of Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker. We have the Ring of Jericho. Jericho defending the ROH title against Bryan Danielson. We had a All Atlantic Championship match between Pac and Orange Cassidy. A lot of that stuff and much, much more. If you like what you see here, hit the subscribe button, the comments down below, like button. Follow the social media at Misfit Wrestle TV. And we also launched the Instagram, which I'm having trouble with. Keep telling me I'm suspended, even though it's just a account for a podcast. But if you want to try to find it, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do much on there. But if you want to be able to follow it, it's at Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram. Man, let's get over to AEW Dynamite. This was actually a really good show. Probably the better than last week, in my opinion. Much better than last week. I thought some of my favorite matches were the opening contest, the women's tag match, and then the main event. I didn't really care for Jericho and Danielson, mainly because I think the finish kind of left the sour taste in my mouth. But we're gonna go through it here. So the show starts with Renee Paquette coming out here introducing everybody to AEW Dynamite in Canada. She calls out Christian Cage, who's from Toronto, says that he's the face of Canada. He guarantees a win for his boy Luchasaurus, just like the Maple Leaves losing in round one. He brings out Luchasaurus for his match, and then we get Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Luchasaurus wins off of the distraction. This was actually a fun little match. I enjoyed what they did here. Jungle Boy comes charging in with drop kicks on his former tag team partner. He follows that up with He follows that up with one to his back, which is one of the drop kicks to the back of the Luchasaurus. That is. Then he yanks up the top rope while standing on the back of him with Luchasaurus. That is. Following that up by diving over the top rope with to slap Luchasaurus, taking a page out of Christian Cage's book. However, it doesn't take long for the bigger man to turn things around as Luchasaurus connects with a German suplex, which looks nasty. Then he gets a table to set out on the outside. This is one of the things I didn't like about this match. Jungle Boy blocks, but he attempts only to be sent back first into the ring post. Then he tries to slap Jungle Boy, but Jungle Boy moves, connecting with the steel instead. He stops on his hand. Jungle Boy that is into it, or stomps his hand into it once again. The two continue fighting on the outside. Luchasaurus then launching him into the barricade several times. Luchasaurus targets the back of a Jungle Boy. Or he continues the work on the back of Jungle Boy, stomping on the injured area as he then pulls the tape off the arena or off the area. However, then he charges into the corner, misses a few times, hitting the ring post. Jungle Boy then looks to send him through the table, take on the outside that was set up by Luchasaurus earlier. The two then brawl on the apron with Luchasaurus hanging on by one hand, getting super kicked. The hand that is. The Jungle Boy then dives with the top rope, power bombs the masked man through the table. That's the issue I have with it. The referee didn't call a disqualification. The AEW referees really pissed me off. I'm just saying. Rick Knox is a fucking terrible referee. Get rid of him. Do something with him. Bring back Earl Hebner or something. Or Mike Chioda or something. Somebody like that. Or hell, get John Cone. I know he works for WWE, but he's a better fucking referee than fucking Rick Knox. They get back into the ring. Luchasaurus fights back with a big clothesline, then plants him down, forcing Jungle Boy to kick out. The two men then head to the top rope, but Jungle Boy slides out from underneath him and hits him from behind, setting him up in the Tray of Woe. But then Jungle Boy comes in to dive on him. Luchasaurus stretches his legs to slam him onto the mat, down to the mat. Then he nails a choke slam on Jungle Boy. Jack Perry kicks out. Jungle Boy comes in with a few elbow strikes, with a crucifix bomb. This time, the bigger man has to kick out. Of that being Luchasaurus, of course. He looks for the kill switch, but Luchasaurus reverses, only for Jungle Boy to turn around and plant him down with something I didn't necessarily see much of what that was, because at that time I kind of missed parts of that. Then he hits the kill switch, but yet again, he kicks out. Luchasaurus does. Jungle Boy locks in the snare trap, but Luchasaurus gets to the ropes. Christian holds on to him as well, which the referee doesn't see that. That was a better refereeing than the fucking table spot. Christian Cage then decides to distract Jungle Boy, allows Luchasaurus to throw Jungle Boy across the ring, spiking him down for the win. Luchasaurus wins. I was okay with Luchasaurus winning here. I would save the big win for Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus somewhere down the line. Probably for the pay-per-view. And then whenever Christian is good to go, I would say Revolution time, maybe. You can do the big match there, or you can save it for Double or Nothing. The Luchasaurus, not the Luchasaurus, the Jungle Boy, the actual match between Jungle Boy and Christian. Next up, we had Wardlow and Samoa Joe defeat the Factory in convincing fashion. That way, backstage, Stokely Hathaway reveals that they have purchased the contracts to Private Party, and Matt Hardy says that he will fight for the contracts. Ethan Page insists that they fight for themselves, so he'll face Isaiah Cassidy on Rampage, for them. But if he's gonna face Isaiah Cassidy for him. If Page wins, he also owns Matt Hardy's contract as well. I don't know why we're going back to the Matt Hardy Private Party stuff. Whatever. QT Marshall then appears to make fun of the name Wardlow, which, to be fair, it is a shitty name. But he's quickly cut off as the TNT champion. Wardlow makes his way down the ring. So then follows that up with Samoa Joe. They start beating the shit out of Nick Camarado and QT Marshall. The match doesn't last very long. Wardlow hits a few power bombs. Muscle Buster on Camarado, or on QT. Nick Camarado breaks the pin. Marshall tries to hit a splash. The veteran slightly steps, which puts Samoa Joe smoothly. Like, yep, I'm gonna Nakamura. That reminds me of that moment in the Nakamura Kevin Steen match from Ring of Honor, where Steen was gonna do one of those running sentons off the ring apron. And Nakamura just moves out of the way. Oh, sorry, I hit my microphone. He just moves out of the way casually. It was pretty fucking entertaining. Wardlow then comes to the ring, drops QT with a headbutt for dropping with a lariat. Camarado gets tagged in, but gets launched into the ring for his efforts, or gets launched around his ring for his efforts. Then the Factory Star tries to fight back, but with some charges in the corner. Then he picks up the TNT champion. He tries to pick up the TNT champion, but he escapes, planting him in the middle of the ring. Samoa Joe comes in and holds him to the mat, allowing Wardlow to hit a huge senton. Joe puts on the Coquino clutch, and Camarado is forced to tap out after the match. Wardlow and Samoa Joe just beat the shit out of the rest of the factory. Out comes the Gates of Agony and the rest of that faction. Prince Nana and the Embassy. Sorry, not the Gates of Faction is the tag team in there. He comes out, says he's disappointed for them sticking their nose into people's business. Brian Cage repeats that message. He says he hasn't said FTR. He hasn't seen FTR at all day, but then they appear. Dax Harwood comes out and says there are three of them, but Wardlow and Joe work but Wardlow and Joe just work so they can't compete with them again or something along the lines of that. Instead, they have a Canadian in mind. Out comes Sean Spears. R.I.P. to Sean Spears' old theme song. I preferred that one. He throws Aaron Solo back into the ring, who gets big rigged as the baby faces celebrate. So there was that. Again, love seeing Wardlow and Samoa Joe squash them poor bastards, and it's fun. Next up, we got Swerve Strickland versus Billy Gunn. Strickland tries to trash talk Billy Gunn instead. He eats the right hand. This didn't go very long. Strickland wins with a roll up after attacking the knee of Billy Gunn. Out after the match. At one point, Billy Gunn tries to look for the Famouser, but he avoids it. Or Swerve does at least. Rolls him up for the pin. Strickland wins. After the match, the Acclaim and Billy Gunn were going to scissor, the scissor me thing. And then Mark Sterling comes out. This was actually somewhat funny, but also annoying at the same time. I said that they've filed a copyright claim on the scissor me thing. And apparently this is true. So if you go to the database where you can look for all that stuff up, type it in scissor me. Yep, it's legit. That is the funniest thing about that. He follows. They start doing that thing next with the scissor me daddy, niece, whatever. Next up, we get an MJF interview. Stokely Hathaway interrupts MJF, but he doesn't find it funny. Puts him in timeout. He says Striker one was last week when he got involved when he didn't ask without asking, or being asked, that is. And if he does it again, he will be fired. Then he said William Regal is as villainous as Mary Poppins. He doesn't want to be reminded of their dark past. He doesn't know if he's going to shake hands with Wheeler Yuta or not, because looks like they were gonna shake hands last week. But he knows nice guys finish last. He knows the locker room hates him. He knows the people at home hate him. He knows that he has to be the bad guy, and says that he doesn't like himself either. But that's what it takes to be the world champion, and he will do just that. Next we got a Jon Moxley promo. This was one of my favorite things on the show. So he talks about being champion and what it means to him, and and then he starts calling out Hangman Page. Page comes out, admits that he might not be the same guy he was back in November, or back in whenever Page won the ladder match. Page says he hesitated in May when and it cost him the championship to CM Punk, that is. He went for the trios titles with the Dark Order and failed. And then week after week, members of the Dark Order seemingly disappeared. His old friends have also disappeared, making First time that on screen that the Elite have been referenced at all since the uh uh stuff that happened at All Out. Page says is left with nothing. He's angry. He can't sleep. He's depressed. The medicine he has isn't working, but he's still here because he's a man. He's a He says he's a father, a husband, and he's been beaten till he turns blue. But he keeps coming back because he's a man. As you know, Page starts punching himself. He calls himself a black eye. Page says that he knows what he has to do, and he doesn't care if his family is in the crowd. He will do whatever it takes to get the title back. He deserves to be the next AEW champion. And unlike MJF, he wanted to tell him to his face. He shoulders Moxie on his way out. This segment was beautiful stuff. This was beautiful stuff. I'm excited for the match next Tuesday. That's going to be an incredible stuff. Chris Jericho defeated Bryan Danielson, the Ring of Honor World Title. It wasn't a bad match. It's just the ending kind of ruined it for me. We'll cut to the ending of the match here. That's what a lot of people want to talk about. So at one point, Jericho gets out immediately. Who gets out to something immediately? Hits a little bit. Jericho gets out of all this lion tamer stuff because Jericho at one point was putting the lion tamer. Jericho hits his own roundhouse kicks to the head. Bryan then starts using the hammer and elbow strikes. Jericho catches one and reverses into a fireman's carry, providing the distance between them, and then follows that up with a kick. But he misses. He then misses with the lion salt. Danielson doesn't miss with the leaping knee through. Then he follows that up with a second. Danielson does. Mega Dragon goes to the well too many times. On the third attempt, he's caught with a code breaker midair, leading to a near fall. The referee gets knocked out at this point. Here comes Daddy Magic, then hands the world title to Jericho. But Daniel Garcia runs on, pulls it away from Jericho, pushes Jericho, which sets up the Baisaku knee kick on Jericho from Bryan Danielson. Bryan then gets blasted by the title, with the TV title by Garcia, allowing Jericho to retain. I hated that ending so bad. They're dick teasing us like they're doing with Jamie Hayter, and I don't like it. Either he's not on that group or he is. Make up your mind, Tony. I don't have much to say about that left. Next up, we have Renee Paquette backstage with the Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose as she claims to be the TBS champion. And Jay appears and challenges her to a question mark title match, despite her not being the real champion. It's weird. So we're gonna have that on Rampage on Friday, which is weird. They have Rampage tomorrow, but I guess they're taping it tomorrow. Whatever. It's something, whatever. And next up, we had Jamie Hayter, Britt Baker taking on Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. Jamie Hayter, of course, over in everywhere she goes. Pulls the trigger on her Toni. God damn it. Hikaru Shida sends. This was actually a really fun match. They're also back in their 9:30 time spot. You can't do anything about that. Shida sends Jamie into the mat, teases tagging in Toni Storm. Then keeps. Then she takes a shot and then nails a big chop to the former champion. However, Shida responds Shida responds well with her sending her into the corner as Toni Storm tags in. Connects with her own. Storm starts connecting her with huge thrust kicks to coming off the ropes. She follows it up with an elbow into the corner before she can deliver her hip attack. Britt grabs her foot, which distracts Toni Storm. The distraction works well as Jamie Hayter is able to hit a big, nasty boot. The heels then dominate her. That just sounds weird to say out loud. Dominate her. Yanking Storm into the ring post. Hayter then continues to remain in control. Slamming Storm into the mat. But the world champ, I'm gonna keep calling the women's champion. The women's champion, Toni Storm, that is, fires back with some of her own shots, only shots of her own, only to Toni Storm fires back with some of her own shots, only to hit a neck breaker and a double tags are made. Shida hammers in on Britt, following up with a jumping knee. She begins firing back. She begins firing hands down in the corner while Hayter tries to stop her. She ends up being superplexed into the ring as Baker then gets stacked on top of with her suplex, on top of her with a suplex. Shida springs off the middle rope with a knee strike, but Britt was able to kick out. Then Britt catches Shida's leg, sending into Hayter, who connects with the backbreaker. Her backbreakers are just amazing to watch and look like they really hurt. Toni Storm charges in and takes out Jamie Hayter, but Britt disposes of the champion, then puts on the glove. Shida tries to fight back. Shida tries to fight off both of her opponents until she's dropped with a double thrust kick. It seems like they haven't won. The heels do, that is, until Storm breaks things up. Then she runs around the ropes with a DDT to Britt Baker, planting her with the Storm Zero, but Jamie Hayter charges in. Storm to fall back on the pinfall attempt. Shida takes out Hayter. Storm follows it up with a DDT on the outside to Hayter, that is. Britt almost got a pinfall on Shida, but then Shida then locks on the lockjaw. Shida responds with a pinfall attempt. Then she plants Baker. The two go back and forth with some pinfall attempts, but Shida is the one who gets the best of that, with Shida pinning Britt Baker for the win. This was a fun women's tag match. I like the 4 women in this match. I originally was hoping they would save the eventual Britt Baker, the eventual Shida Toni Storm match for the pay-per-view if Thunder Rosa is not back by in time. But they're going to be doing that match next week. That match should be good. That match should be actually excellent, if I'm being honest. I can't wait for that. Main event time. Pac and Orange Cassidy for the All Elite Championship. Pac tries to cheat again with the ringing bell hammer. He gets caught by Danhausen, who the referee also sees. The referee takes the hammer away from Orange Cassidy, or not Orange Cassidy. He takes the hammer away from a Pac. Underneath the ring, there's a second hammer. He goes tries to use it, failed miserably. Orange Cassidy was going to use it. Referee said, "Nah, you're above that. To use that to your advantage." And Pac tries to hit the brutalizer and tries to, I guess, one up Orange Cassidy, but Orange Cassidy hits the orange punch, not once but twice. Goes for the pin. Orange Cassidy wins the AEW All Atlantic Championship. This match, like I said, was actually my match of the night. It furthers. I don't know if it furthers any other story, but this is also not Pac's. This is Orange Cassidy's first championship in AEW. Pac can now go on to be the trios champion, and eventually when the Elite eventually come back, it's going to be the Elite versus, I'm assuming, the Lucha Bros, or the Death Triangle for the trios titles. That was AEW Dynamite. That was like I said, fun show. Nothing too big happened on the show that was memorable. Other than like Renee Paquette joining AEW. We had the title change with the Orange Cassidy winning the Atlantic Championship. Uh, you know, Jamie Hayter still as over as ever. Uh, Shida and Toni Storm are probably going to tear it up next week in Cincinnati. Uh, I'm already telling you 2 match of the year candidates are waiting to happen next week. We have the AEW Women's Championship match, Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida. We have the AEW World Championship match between Jon Moxley and Hangman Adam Page. I believe there's another match that's happening next week, but I don't actually remember what it is. I don't actually have the next week's match card in front of me. But yeah, that was AEW Dynamite. Like I said, not a bad show. We'll see you guys, hopefully, for tomorrow. We'll see you guys for SmackDown. SmackDown's going to be an interesting show. We have the return of Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is going to be there in person on SmackDown. Hopefully, to debut something. We're going to find out what's next for Bray Wyatt. Is Vincent and Dutch from the Righteous going to be a part of this group? Interesting enough, WWE filed the trademark for Uncle Howdy and Uncle Harper. Is that connection to Bray Wyatt and members of the Righteous? Who knows? Vincent though is doing some interesting stuff on social media. Let's actually look up because he put something on not Twitter but on Instagram earlier today. All right, that was actually yesterday. He basically the same thing that he put on Twitter, but he says hashtag revenge is forever, hashtag death walks, and then hashtag 12496. Now, if you looked it up, that is also the area code for Windham, New York. I'm just saying. But SmackDown, you got the Bray Wyatt stuff. You got Kofi Kingston versus Jimmy Uso. Not Jimmy Uso. You have Kofi Kingston versus Sami Zayn. And you have LA Knight officially making his main roster debut against Mansoor. So that's going to be interesting. I'm excited for SmackDown, mainly to see what they're going to do with Bray Wyatt. Though I'm looking forward to seeing LA Knight back. Maybe we'll see Vincent and the rest of members of the Righteous join Bray Wyatt. Who knows? But like I said, I've been Matt the Misfit. This has been the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. This is your AEW Dynamite review. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below, find the social medias, which is obviously now the Instagram, which is at Misfit Wrestling Pod, and then Misfit Wrestle TV on Twitter. Find us on Facebook if you want to. That's all well and good with me. I will again until we see you for SmackDown. Good night, everybody. We're out.